Hello paper crafters, I'm Sunny Sky and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today we're using this bundled set, the Love You to Pieces, and then the matching Thinlits dies. And this is a cutting die, but we're using it to score on the Coastal Cabana cardstock here. The Mango Melody we're cutting, and then the Coastal Cabana we're scoring. So I'm going to show you how to do that with our new embossing mats that we have. And here are the sizes of cardstock that you need for today's card. So we're going to start off with a little stamping, and this piece of Mango Melody we're using as the middle layer of the card and also as that puzzle die. And my ink pad is a little dry. I need to re-ink it, so let me just ink it up again. Nice thing about cardstock, there's two sides. And I'm just going to randomly put this somewhere in the middle of this card. There you go, that is much better. While I'm stamping, let me go ahead and stamp a couple of other things, and that is the full card. We're going to go ahead and stamp on the inside of that, and I'm going to use that black ink again and stamp a puzzle piece. I'm using the Stays On, but you could also use the Memento black ink. Either one will work just fine. And then we've got this saying, "We just fit," and that will fit inside that puzzle piece. And so I'm going to do that in the Mango Melody. And I'm just kind of guessing on that thing. I didn't get it quite perfect, but that will work. And then, let me show you this finished card where I actually put a couple of the puzzle pieces inside to go along with that. A couple extra ones, because we're going to cut out this whole puzzle thing of the Mango Melody cardstock, but we're not going to use all of the pieces. So, with this die, we're going to cut these pieces. And we're using this cardstock also as the layer in our card. So we want to make sure that you don't get the die too close to the edge, because there's going to be a hole in this cardstock, which isn't going to be shown because you've got the white layer and the blue layer in between. So we're just going to cut that on the Big Shot just like you would any other die cut. Make our sandwich. Using my platform thin die adapter. If you have the newer Big Shot, I have the older one with the hinges. Just going to layer that on there. And I'm angling this so that it doesn't go straight through, just because it provides a little extra smoothness on my Big Shot, to not have to hit all that blade at one time. Okay, now that is cut. I'm going to set that aside. So let me show you what comes in the embossing mat set. Okay, you will get a nice plate, a thicker gray silicone mat, and a thinner blue silicone mat. And you will get a little cover and instructions on how to make your sandwich. So if you want to have a deeper impression, you're going to go with the thicker silicone mat and less. So if you have the newer Big Shot, you just use the basic platform and not the thin die adapter. Then you're going to take a cutting mat. Before you put the cardstock down, you got to put your silicone mat, because the silicone mat being on the other side of the die as the cardstock is because this is flexible, that's what's going to make it not cut. So you need to make sure that the blade edge is facing down, that your cardstock is sandwiched between your silicone mat and your die. Now remember, when we did the cut, we did it right in the center, straight on the cardstock, so we'd have room. Here, for our design, we want part of it to be off the cardstock. We're just embossing part of it, and we want to leave some part not embossed. So we've got our platform, our one cutting mat, our silicone mat, cardstock, the die machine or the die cut, and then this platform that comes, not a cutting mat, but it's a layering mat that goes on the top. And we're going to run that through. You don't hear any crinkling because it's not cutting anything, so it's a little quieter than when we cut that other one. And then when we take it out, Nice thick impression. Now, if you wanted the thinner impression, like we have here, then you would simply use the thinner mat instead of the thicker mat. Okay, and now I have all my pieces of my puzzle here, and I need to figure out where I'm going to place them on my card. And I'm only looking to use the ones that have the lettering on them. So first of all, I'm just going to place them here just to make sure I've got them all. That one goes there. Really is like a puzzle, isn't it? Okay, and there's a tiny little corner of the end here, but I'm not going to worry about that. I know which squares are covered now with puzzle pieces. They're really small to glue on here, but if I know I'm covering these puzzle pieces, I'm just going to go ahead and put my strips down in that puzzle piece because I know it's going to cover it up. You also could use liquid glue to do it if you like. And you've got the impressions of the puzzle pieces behind you to help you get it all together. Let me just put them together in order here. And then you can read your little note pretty easily. Looks like I went maybe a little off center there. Okay, and I'll just cut off the edge where it overlaps here. All right, and then you have your layer here. Now, if you put some adhesive on each end, you can get these two layers attached together. And then we got this ribbon, and this ribbon comes in, you get a pack of two. You get some ivory ribbon and then also this lovely colored ribbon. So we're gonna, because my image is more on this side, I'm gonna put my ribbon over towards this side of the card. And I'm not usually a copper girl, but I just had to have the ribbon. It just looked really fun. And I thought, well, you know, I need to have something with copper. Since I don't tend to buy copper things, this ribbon would be an easy thing to buy. And when the copper trend is gone away in a few years, I won't have tons of stuff left because I will have used up my ribbon. So then I'm just gonna attach it to the front of the card. I'm gonna put a little extra adhesive on the front of this card because I've got that hole in the cardstock behind there. Remember, I've used the back of that for my puzzle pieces. Make sure you've got your card opening the proper direction. And then you can just add a few puzzle pieces inside if you want. Here's another one I did with a different color, and I used the We Just Fit there on the front. It doesn't fit as well in this puzzle because the stamped piece is larger than the puzzle piece. So that is something to note, that these do not fit inside the stamp pieces. They are a different size than the stamp pieces. So that's a fun one. And then I did one here where I just had some random puzzle pieces in the card and just had the only words were down there. So I experimented with a little bit. But that's the card for today. So thank you guys for joining me for this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed the tip about using these embossing mats on your die cuts. It really just gives you twice as much possibility for what you've already purchased. And they're only $15 for the embossing mats, and you'll just use them so much. So really a good investment, I think. So thanks for joining me. Remember, at Sunny Sky Stamps, we have 3 S's. Share, shop, and subscribe. And go have some fun crafting today.